the great queen or whatever. Welcome to another edition of Real Talk with Todd Mossy and Company. I'm your host, Todd Mossy. I'm here with Bob Bell, Big Mike, my co-host, and also our guest tonight, Barbie Jean Ogles, formerly of Carmen St. Jean, and now she's Barbie Jean Ogles or Ogles? How do you say that?
Ogles. You got it right the first time. Ogles.
Ogles.
Yeah.
Welcome.
It's a very sexy name, right?
Right. What made you go to become Barbie Jean Ogles?
Barbie Jean Ogles was my birth name.
Mm-hmm.
That's the name I grew up with. So, and when I was in my 20s, I decided I wanted to be Carmel.
Right.
I think
Was that a
Carmel is
middle
like
name?
my alter ego.
Oh, okay.
No, Barbie Jean is my middle name, and I ended up keeping my middle name later. And I added Saint. First I was just Carmel. I tried to be like Madonna, and that wasn't very successful because I couldn't get ID or anything with one name. And so I finally gave in and I added Saint Jean to Carmel. And
yeah, what's up with that though? How come you can't just have one name? How come only a few people can have one name like Cher, Madonna, besides being rich and famous?
Yeah.
Adele.
Well, even like Prince had the symbol, he changed his name to a symbol.
Yeah.
So that's kind of weird, but
that's one name privilege. That's what that is.
Huh?
That's one name
it's
privilege.
Pronounced like a seagull's cry.
when
he was asked how to pronounce it.
Yeah.
It sounds like when doves cry.
Yeah.
Big Mike, are you okay? Did you just orgasm as a seagull? What was that
yes,
about?
I did. Yes, it was. It was quite pleasant. As with all seagulls, we orgasm out of our cloaca.
Oh yeah.
I think I saw one today actually do that.
Yeah. You know, Big Mike, if reincarnation is if actual a thing, I can see you coming back as a seagull, or you were a seagull. Honest.
Right.
In your
go around stealing people's picnic baskets and pecking their eyes out until they die.
Right.
I think I'd like that. I think I'd like that.
Like the birds.
Yeah.
Hitchcock.
Yes.
Oh my God.
That gas station scene. That gas station scene is great.
Yeah.
Where they're all nervous and all of a sudden somebody drops a cigarette and it's some 1960s gold thing blows up. we tried to do that scene many times and finally we got it right.
Bob, is that your Hitchcock?
Yeah, I think so.
It's rather didactic there. Rather iconic.
It's so funny. Sometimes Bob Bell shows his SNL side, where he's just doing characters, and you're just like, I'd love to see Bob Bell audition for SNL, right? Going up to Lorne Michaels, and then just, all right, here's a sock it to me.
Sock it to me?
Yes, that's it. We can do it. That's right. Come on, Henry. We can do it. Let's pray.
Well, supposedly the Debra sisters were auditioned by Saturday Night Live.
That's what I'd heard.
Whoa!
I remember the O'Debra sisters.
Yeah. Okay, well, there.
The Bowery Club.
All right. Well, I used to perform at the Bowery. So
yeah, that's where I performed, and I remember Todd performed there too.
Yeah,
at the Bowery Poetry Club.
Wait, did you hear? Did they both audition for SNL at the same time, the O'Debra twins, or just one?
I think they did at the same time. Then I think later, Tanya did, and it was at Reverend Jen's JJ Awards, like that fake awards, and I blew it for them.
You blew it for them
because I in the middle of a presentation, I did that thing there's this Ukrainian guy who jumps the red carpet and then kisses men on the lips like he kissed Will Smith once. So I did that with Tanya, and she went nuts. I mean, she was like, that happened all the way back in I think 2012, and she's never spoken to me again, and like my friends' numbers dropped like 50 the next day because I guess she badmouthed me to everybody, and I got on everybody's shit list after I did that. It was supposed to be a joke, but the only person who didn't get the joke was Tanya.
Oh, Big Mike, you were canceled before cancellation was fun.
Oh yeah, people ask me my significant other once asked me, "Have you ever harassed anybody like the Me Too movement?" And I'm like, who haven't I harassed? You know what I mean? I harassed Janine Garofalo.
I was gonna
I
bring that
harassed
up. That was what I was gonna bring up. Yeah.
Paris Hilton, Debbie Harry, Patti Smith, anybody I saw on Lower East Side who was famous female celebrity, I harassed them. Kirsten Shaw, the one who got the Flight of the Conchords and 30 Rock, I harassed her. And it was like any famous female that I ran across, I was.
How about Chloe Sevigny?
Yes, of course. Right.
Oh my God! Have you seen that video of her giving a blowjob?
No.
She's
That's
in
the
a movie.
Brown Bunny.
Oh, that's the one.
That's
Brown
for the
Bunny.
movie Brown Bunny. Her boyfriend Vincent Gallo, the filmmaker.
Right.
Yes, and she's giving. It's like a damn porno. She's giving him a full-on blowjob. I mean, it
She
is.
said she had done it many times before with the guy, and actually said at the time we were broken up already. But she said, like, for old time's sake, she did it again. You know. Well, that's the point. Having said that, I said, "Look, I did harass these women, but you look at like Chloe Sevigny giving a blowjob to Vincent Gallo on camera, Paris Hilton getting fucked by her boyfriend. Like, I mean, look at these people. Like, I'm not allowed to harass them."
Oh my God.
Sorry.
Big Mike, you sound like a Republican right about now. I can't.
No,
She was asking for
Yeah,
it.
That's full on Big Mike logic.
Is my name Weinstein? Is my name Movies? What kind of power do I have? I have none, zero. You know what I'm saying? I'm not in a position of power to ruin anybody's career or help anybody's career. So I figure it's all right if I go up and like rub up against somebody. Like, can you please stand away?
Yeah. Bob Bell, that's your guy, Bob Bell. That's your friend, Bob. So if you want to cancel,
I was the best man, 1985.
Well, when am I ever going to get a chance to run into these women in real life? Besides those few times I
run
into them in
these
real life.
women? Did you just say run into these women?
Yes, exactly. Trip over them. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, unless I mean, they're surrounded by bodyguards all the time. So the point is, it's like you have to take your chances when you can.
Big Mike, you sound like
initiative.
Yeah, Big Mike, you sound like one of those weirdos on the E! True Hollywood Story where it's just like, oh yes, I do.
No,
Julia
that's
Child.
a stalker. There's different. The stalker is you have to actually have a plan. I've never planned anything in my life. They just showed up where I was, and I put the moves on them.
Judy Garland is my best friend, even though she never met me. I feel like she's.
Well, no, here's the point. I did meet all of them. That's the difference. I did meet all of them.
Yeah. So Barbie, so have you ever been harassed by Big Mike? And
if I did, I probably blocked it out.
It's like a post-traumatic stress disorder. You had like an event amnesia.
Yes,
Which
yeah,
better,
definitely.
being abducted
I'm getting some
by
weird
aliens and all those
sensations
probes?
right now.
Or the alien abductions and
or meeting Mike
and incest. Yeah, you block these things out. You have to get a recovered memory of me now.
You get a choice. You either get abducted on the ship or you go to see Mike at the Kit Kat Club. Which one's it going to be?
It looks like Big Mike got, abducted to the Kit Kat universe.
He's probably harassing Ariana Grande right now.
Right. The next generation. Yeah.
Yeah, the millennials. Now he's moved on to the millennials.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of which, so Barbie, how's you left New York to go to Alabama? How's Alabama doing right about now? Is Alabama opening up, or has it always been open up since
It's always been open. Nobody's really closed down anything down here. Restaurants were right after the pandemic started. Right when the pandemic started, I think I wasn't here yet, but I think restaurants closed down. I think everything closed down, but they opened them right back up. They opened them right back up again. So. I'm just wondering, is it like an alternate universe where like the pandemic never happened and everything's just normal? And pretty much.
Alabama's probably the Sweden of the U.S. basically.
Yeah. Well, nobody wanted to wear a mask, and now that people are even people who are not getting vaccinated are not wearing masks, and You know, the only places that require masks right now are like health clinics and places like that, in the post office. They require masks, but like grocery stores, restaurants, nobody really is wearing masks. So, you know, but I wear 'em. I got vaccinated, so, but I've heard that you can still get COVID even if you've gotten vaccinated.
It only stops you from getting the COVID-19 so bad that you have to have a ventilator you have to be placed on a ventilator. It prevents the hospitalizations and the deaths. It really doesn't prevent you from getting it, though. Ultimately.
Yeah, my sister says getting vaccinated is like putting on a condom.
Yeah, right. Condoms break, right? You know.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Jesus has the pull-out method. Uses the pull-out method. So
speaking of which, hey, Big Mike, have you ever had a pregnancy scare?
Yes.
Let me
Bob,
guess.
I don't know if you remember, Bob. Do you remember the whole thing with T.S. Klein, Teresa Sue Klein?
Vaguely. Wait. How long ago was this?
She actually made an announcement at an open mic, a comedy open mic, that she was carrying my twins.
Oh my god!
Twins.
But she turned out she was a psycho. It just turned out she was a psycho and nothing more.
Oh man!
What went through your head? Is it twins?
Just like two mics. Two mics. That's what I'm thinking of. They had to be two.
It was one of these things I got at the same time I was working at a psychiatric hospital as a registered nurse.
Perfect.
And of all things, I'd been assaulted by one of the psychiatrists. In fact, he was the head psychiatrist there, and I was trying to stop him from killing a patient, literally, and he kicked me in the face hard enough that I wound up in the emergency room.
What?
You know,
what? Well, a psychiatrist kicked me in the face?
In my mouth at the time, and at the time they had to let me go. There was a budget cut, so I got beat up by the psychiatrist, fired, and now I've got twins.
You can't sue? You should have sued. That's like
you can't sue the VA.
Oh right. Oh man.
It's a federal. You can't sue. You can for $100. You can sue them for $100. That goes back to the Civil War days.
He kicked you in the. A psychiatrist kicked you in the head.
In the face several times.
Oh my god!
Because I was not. He was kicking the shit out of this patient who was a veteran. I jumped on top of the patient to protect him, and I went around to cock my head and say "Hey, he's had enough." And then he started kicking me in the face. You know,
how did he become a psychiatrist?
They bring me into the office. I'm sorry, Mike. But we have to let you go because the budget cuts. We can't have temporary workers.
And they kept him. That's hilarious.
Well, no, actually, he got suspended for years, or I think 2 years. He spent supposedly the story is $1 million to have himself reinstated.
I see.
But the guy never apologized to me or anything like that. He never said, sorry, I kicked you in the face that time. He was trying to keep me from murdering another patient. But it's like I said, he had this reputation. You know what I'm saying? Like a nationwide reputation as a psychiatrist. He also had a reputation kind of a wild man, kind of thing. And the other, the line,
psychiatrist. That's great.
And not only that, the line from Scarface, "Don't get high in your own supply."
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that was supposedly another thing involved as well.
What year is this we're talking about? Over 20 years ago?
That was 2001.
Yeah,
it's pretty recent.
Just before that was a spring and summer before the 9/11,
right?
The World Trade Center attack. That's how I remember it.
So if you actually had that kid, if that was real, they'd be like 19 right now, right?
19, right? No, 20 actually. Let's say 20. It was the end of March the end of March 2001. So you'd be exactly 20, right? Exactly.
Oh,
actually, both of them would be 20. The twins would be 20.
Hey, Antonio Moreno, we were just talking about Big Mike and his pregnancy scares. You missed it. Apparently, Big Mike got kicked in the head by a psychiatrist when around the time he thought he got a crazy girlfriend pregnant with 2 twins. Which she lied
Yeah.
because she was crazy.
How do you
That's
know
what
she
we-
lied?
Yeah, right,
How do you
right.
know she just
There
has
was-
them and
the
you don't
point is-
know about it?
That if I was going to support them, I couldn't support it because I was out of work. I found myself out of work, that kind of thing. So, but
You sell
eventually, I
sperm.
mean, like always,
You sell sperm.
you huh?
You can sell sperm. I see you as a sperm seller. I
So
think you lost Big Mike.
I'm private about what I shoot all over the television set while watching porn. I'm rather private about that, that kind of thing.
I think Big Mike, we
I-
lost you, and then we got you right back at the most awkward time. It's just like, it just sounds like you said you just shoot your load on a TV. And
I
that's it.
think your twins are alive and I think your twins are alive and well and like basically TikTok stars.
You never know.
in
You
Norway.
never tell these things.
They're like Norwegian TikTok stars.
Oh my God.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah, big,
More like
big
Canadian,
big,
Canadian TikTok stars.
yeah,
Yeah.
big,
All
big
right,
man.
to show you how crazy she was, the twin. Do you remember there was that rash of what they call Karens calling the police about black men?
Mhm.
Yeah, right.
She was one of them. She made Oprah. She made the Channel 7 News, and she made Times. She was called Street Corner Caroline because I don't know if you heard the story. She accused some 9-year-old black kid of grabbing her ass at the local bodega.
It already sounds so racist as it is.
I know.
Right?
I know.
That 9-year-old was leering at me.
Yeah, that's right.
She said, "Oh,
Oh, he
she
was
wanted to have the
almost as
police.
bad
She wanted the police to arrest this 9-year-old boy because she filed a complaint that he grabbed her ass."
It was almost as bad as Big Mike. Not quite.
But it turned out they had videotape and it exonerated, like with the stories, the kid's backpack brushed into her great big fat ass when he turned around, kind of thing. He was turning around, and he managed to swipe her ass with the backpack,
Right. Yeah. Well,
How's that kid doing?
yeah. Right.
Imagine being
That was only about 2 years ago. That was 2018. So say 3 years ago.
yeah. Antonio Moreno said he was that 9-year-old. I think we all.
Really?
Speaking of which, like it's so funny because like during my junior high school years, kids were basically like sexually assaulting each other like nonstop because they basically played games where they just like instead of tag, it was just like go grab the other opposite sex.
I remember that when I was growing up, there was a kid who was he said here he was trying to like train me. I couldn't believe I used to go fishing with him, I think, or used to hang out, play hockey, or whatever. But he would do that. He said, "Watch, I'm going to go do exactly that. I'm going to grab somebody." And he went down like there's all these kids like that were all crowded. All of a sudden, you see this girl like jump, like who grabbed me? Who grabbed me? And he had like somehow done it. And then he came back to me and he said, "Yeah, I just did it." I was like, "I didn't even see you. How did you do that?" That was the 7th.
Just like Jersey, Bob? Was this like a Jersey?
Yeah, it's like
75?
Jersey 1975. And then I saw him at the high school reunion, and he had like this. He was the one guy who like dressed up in like a flannel shirt and had a big beer in his hand. It's like I'm gonna find the truth at the bottom of this barrel.
Oh
that
my God!
was like one of those guys.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Yeah.
Oh my God! Imagine that guy now. Is he like he's probably like a dad of like he's probably like a granddad now, right?
Yeah, he's probably like who knows, maybe like high up in Trump re-election campaign. I don't know.
Right. Maybe he's like one of Hunter Biden's like crew, like the older guy.
Yeah, could be. Yeah, I didn't know his father. I mean, I don't know about that. He's actually, except for this craziness, he seemed like politically okay, but you can't tell. I mean, this guy's, But then again, there's people in my family who call me up and say, Bob, it's obvious things are going bad for the white man. I said, yeah, okay. I haven't spoken to you in 6 years.
What?
I can see like, where this is going. Yeah, that's how the conversation would open. The conversation opened like that.
But you had a family member saying that?
Yeah, cousin. Yeah.
You're saying things are going bad for the white man?
Yeah. It was what was it? He goes, it's really, it was something he had bad go over like things, or it was something with Obama. Obama obviously doesn't like the white man, but he said it like doesn't like the white man. And I'm like, really? Are we gonna, And then it's like, oh, but how you doing? Oh God.
Big Mike, to catch you up. So Bob Bell just got into a memory shame wormhole where apparently in his Jersey upbringing, he basically grew up with a bunch of sexual assaulters. And then also his family members are white supremacists, apparently.
Oh,
so,
well, there was it was John
Sounds like
Cornish.
my uncles.
John Cornish in my neighborhood. There's a famous beach in the Bronx called Orchard Beach, and he would go there like let's say between the age of 11 and 15. I think he stopped when he was 15, and he had a thing where he would put his hand down into the bikini bottom of girls and put his finger into their vaginas, and he had a growing like a count going like oh, I got 16 this year. I'm 14. I'm working at like 50, and I got 27. I'm gonna be the 20. I'm gonna get the 28 today. Like,
oh my goodness! How old was he?
Count going. He had a whole count going.
How old was he? How old was that? When was that?
Like between the age of let's say 12 and let's say 14 or 15. 15, you get too old. You get as I say, catch a case for it when you're 15. But when you're 12, it's like, oh, it's kids playing around, that kind of thing. And he knew it. He knew that, like, because he was 12 or 13, he could people would just get, don't you do that, you bad, nasty, dirty little boy, and nothing would happen. When you hit about 15, you can't do that anymore. That kind of thing. Instead, you go to jail.
Oh my God!
You see, Tony's another piece of the puzzle. Who is Bob Bell?
Exactly.
I'm trying to tell you little by little. I mean,
during Dinkins' administration at the city pools, they call it whirlpool. A bunch of like kids, guys, boys that get together. They start splashing the water around some girl, and somehow along the way, somebody would rip her top off. So there was a lot of that going on for a while. It's called whirlpooling. Until they started making arrests for doing that. And it was don't diss your sis. That was what David Tink.
I remember that. I remember that.
I'm not making it up. Don't diss
that. Oh my God.
David Dinkins, Mayor David.
Oh my God, I remember that. Yeah, I was like, that sounded familiar, and then I was like, yeah, don't diss your sis. I remember that. Every time they try to like,
I think that was like the summer of like, let's say. That was about 10 years, more than 10 years. It was like, it was probably during the 90s, late 80s, early 90s. Whenever, it would have to be around.
Obviously pre Giuliani.
Right? Yeah, right, pre Giuliani. Let's say it's about 88 or something like that, like around that time.
Hey, Anthony says, "Hey, Mike, he was a mature 12."
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
He knew it. This guy John Cornish, he knew what he was getting away with because. You know what I'm saying? Like he did it on purpose. He realized he wasn't supposed to do it. It's not like he was some kid playing games. He actually had this was like his goal in life was to beat his record. His record was 30 one summer.
The funny thing is,
he won the next summer.
Yeah, the funny thing is, he probably realized he couldn't do this when he was like 13 or 14. He had to retire, so he was just like, you know what? This is my last year.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. It was like the aging veteran. Who's like 34 but still trying to play football, with the younger with these guys who are 21,
Oh my
God.
God.
That reminds it's funny. That reminds me of how corrupt it was.
Sexual assault at the public. Somebody like who keeps playing because he wants to hit that record like Pete Rose, even though you're way past your prime, but you have to get that 4,102 hits or because
right.
Hey, Bob, you're saying something, Bob?
Yeah, I was saying, I was just on the mic. I mean, I just remember in the 70s, it was really after the 60s, everything. I really saw just an incredible amount, especially with like people our age, an incredible amount of corruption, either sexually or just politically. People just would do really mean things to people. And
exactly. It was like there was
a breakdown.
I think once it's maybe a lot of, let's say, the social, civil, civic pressures of the Eisenhower years. Or the Kennedy years were gone by the time Johnson or Nixon came to power.
Right.
It's like there was no longer any kind of social proscriptions against putting your hand down some girl's bikini bottom and inserting your finger in her vagina. I guess
it was there was certain like corruption. I remember going to high school and seeing kids talking about doing all types of crazy stuff. They were also like had problems, but I think really early 70s was just such a like wacky world.
Yeah, right, exactly, right.
Yeah.
Especially in New York, I can imagine.
New York was so many things were going on.
What's going on with New York now is that my People are saying it's turning into the 70s again. Is
well,
that true? Or is that bullshit?
It's very possible. The numbers don't add up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yes.
Right.
But
Yeah, I mean, it
like,
seems overrated. It seems over.
and
I think
what do you know? Like the difference between the 70s and now is that like even in the middle of the lockdown, construction never stopped.
right.
They're
Right.
building these 92-story, I swear to God, 92 and 94-story apartment buildings, residential apartment buildings, 94 stories tall. They call it Steelhenge. There's a line of them on 57th Street between, let's say, Fifth Avenue and like 10th Avenue. There's like they look like I said, they look like these things that aliens have dropped out of like space,
Mhm.
steel and glass, and they can't be 100. They can't be 100 stories because only the Chrysler Building and the Empire State Building allow that. But so the point is, it's just saying like the construction never stopped. They're tearing down old buildings right and left and putting up these like sliver steel and glass things. So as I said, like they didn't do that during the 70s. Everything just went to shit in the
Right.
70s.
Yeah.
Bronx is
The
burning.
point-
Remember when the Bronx is burning?
Yeah.
Right. None of that anymore. It's like the point is that those days are over in one sense. Like, even like in like the most marginal spots in Bushwick that are like right in the middle of like, public housing, they're building like I said, basically these little sliver buildings, the Lower East Side too. They're like they tear down a building that was, let's say, 5 or 6 stories tall, was maybe only 100 feet across, and they put up this sliver building. It's like 24, even 32 or 36 stories tall. It's like it's 100 feet across and like 30 stories high.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, look,
They're like-
we've become
They
the
would never do
UAE.
that in the 70s. They would never do that in the 70s. So the point is, like, in one sense, any obituary they're writing about New York is very, very premature. Like the clubs are opening, instead of opening as like, how can I put it, like, like the old days, like, $5 or $10 a door, like they're becoming supper clubs, kind of thing, like cabarets out of like something you would see in Weimar, Germany, or of all things, Las Vegas.
Weimar.
Thing like that is like
Mhm.
where you have to spend $50 or $100 a night just to hang out at like basically a bar and lounge. You know what I'm saying? Like that was never the case in the old days. I mean, I remember most places you could get in for like they had $1 nights or $2 nights. Like even into well into like what I'm saying, like into the 80s, like even the 90s, like.
Well, they
you
used
get
to
into
have even like 10 years ago, like 10, 12 years ago, they used
right,
to
even
$1.
no, but not like you know what how much it costs to sign up for an open mic now?
Oh,
It's
wow,
like
what's that?
$15.
How
How
much?
$15
Oh,
to get.
forget
What?
that.
Where?
I wasn't even gonna pay $3.
No,
for
those
mics.
they're long. That's what I'm saying, and people are flocking to them because like it's like anything. It's like it's kind of a seller's market, if you want to call it that. That is, you don't have a choice. That's what like basically even the Bowery Poetry Club before the lockdown, their open mic was $15 on Sunday.
Oh my gosh, that's ridiculous. We used to go on Monday night. I used to go there, and
Actually,
I don't think I paid anything.
Right.
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 Or it was $3 or something.
Or,
I
or
think
like,
that was one
right.
of the few clubs that I would pay anything.
but
so-
now it's $15.
That's ridiculous.
You pay $15, Big Mike?
Well, no, yeah, because I'm gonna die anyway. What am I saving my money for?
That's the spirit.
Yeah.
I got nobody to leave it. My second ex-wife gets my I get a pension from the New York State Nurses Association. I just signed it over to her, like fine, We're not married or anything, but you can have it anyway. And I drop dead because I can't spend my money when I'm dead. So the point is, but I'm going through all my money now. I mean, like I'm just throwing up money away right and left.
You got money, Big Mike?
Well, I told the story. Like my first wife bought me out of the title to the co-op out in Bayside, and she settled with one of my Discovery card bills that were like $15,000, and I have the money. And she gave me like $35,000, like a $50,000. So I spent it in I think 18 months on strippers.
Oh.
I thought you looked familiar.
Stripper?
I've spent money like that, but I've like spent it just going to diners and stuff. I mean,
Yeah,
they're
exactly.
so
Diners,
expensive.
I have to go everywhere by cab now because, like I said, I can barely walk with the arthritis,
Right.
and like I not to use a wheelchair, a rascal scooter or a walker. So basically, I walk with 2 canes. I always get to the curb. I take a cab to Coney Island, where I'm in Manhattan, at $60.
Hey, did you go to a strip club yet, or are you still?
No, I'm
saving
still waiting
yourself?
for them to open up. I'm still waiting for them to open. You know.
I thought
Yeah.
they were
Also,
open.
I got money from I got back money from disability, almost like let's say $18,000, $19,000 in disability. I pissed that away too within about 18 months. I mean, it wasn't like you think about 18 months. It's like it works out to about like I think it works out to about 3,000. Not even like it's about 18 months. About 3,000 a month, something like that. So it's like it wasn't like I spent it in one sitting, you know, kind of thing. Like it was like it took me almost 2 years to spend that much money, even literally going into strip clubs on a weekly basis and like going to let's say Coney Island with by a cab. It's been like $120 or something like that.
Big Mike, I gotta know. Big Mike, have you gotten lucky with a stripper? And picked her up after the, you know?
Yes, the answer is yes.
Of course, yes.
I considered her Turkish Gigi. She got I forgot her real name. It's like it was impossible to pronounce. Even learned Turkish, like words like "I love you so much" or "my sweetheart" in Turkish, just to so I could speak to her in her language. And she had special pet names for me when she would speak to me in Turkish. And I used to take her out to places like like the French Roast and places like that. We used to meet like dates.
Yeah.
Right, we had dates and everything, and we were like we were like a couple, that kind of thing. But like she got deported.
Yo, Big Mike, you sound like a
Yeah.
simp right about now. You sound like a simp.
Huh?
You sound like a simp.
A what?
Simp, a simpleton. She
A
simped you. She
simpleton?
got
No, it's only a simpleton if you don't know what's happening to you. If you know what it is, if you know what's going on, you can't be. You're in on it. You're in on the deal. It was mutual, kind of thing we exchanged.
How much
It was
money
an
did you
exchange.
spend for? How much money did you spend on her? Like overall, do you think?
Well, probably a few thousand.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
there was
That's not bad.
there was a lot of strippers. Like you're saying. And there was a lot of girlfriends. There was a lot of other stuff happening at the same time.
See, was this
like
pre-
I said,
Trump- pre-Trump or
What club
post-Trump?
did you go to Scores?
No. Were you a stripper at Scores?
No, but my alter ego was.
Okay,
No.
well, all right. I used to go to
Wait, for real?
flash dancers in the dollhouse.
Oh, Flash Dancers. I
Hey,
always
Barbie.
saw the ads for that, Flash Dancers. So,
Yeah, Antonio says, "Where are they now?"
If you drop even $20,000 or $30,000 at a strip club, that's you considered like not even a big, not even a big, spender there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You spend a few
You're like a
$100.
middle-
If you spend, you're like a pedestrian. You know what I'm saying? If you spend
Yeah.
even you spend like around like $800 or something like that, you're a pedestrian. You just stopped in for a few minutes. You know that kind of thing.
I was
Even like the guys who spend more, like a couple of thousand, are considered like small time. You don't even get into like the big categories. You drop $50,000 to $100,000 on strippers in a night.
Yeah, those are called the Hunter Biden class, right? The Hunter Biden.
Well, right, exactly. See, the point is, even remember, I don't know,
That's
a bottle of champagne, like a bottle service of like Dom Perignon, is $1,000 at these places.
By the way,
Right.
I don't want to go on a tangent, but Bob, did you hear about Hunter Biden using the N word?
No, I didn't. I mean,
Yeah. So one of the leaked emails from his stolen laptop or whatever, or his found laptop, was that are like text messages. So like you would talk to a guy, and it'd be like the guy would try to give him like some positive, like motivational speaking points, like, "Hey man, your brother's looking out for you. I know he's dead." He's just like, "Oh yeah, but I know you're my N word. You're my nigga."
Oh,
And it's just
boy.
like stuff like that.
But that's a white boy trying to make believe he's Tupac Shakur.
Right. But it's funny
He
because
didn't use it as a. They point out that ER or A at the end makes the difference. If
Yeah,
it's
but
ga
Hunter's 50 years
versus
old.
gur, if it's gur, it's an insult. If it's ga, it's your best man.
Oh my god. Yeah, but he's like 50 years old doing that. That's what makes it fucking sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
right.
you
Is
got
he
a bunch of
really
these guys
50?
running around like that. You got what's his name? The guy on MSNBC is like that. The guy Ali Fleisch or whatever his name is. I forget his name. And
Oh.
he's always constantly talking about rappers. Like I guess he's maybe now he's in his 40s or 50s, but he acts like he's a 22-year-old black kid from like from the Bronx, kind of thing.
That's what makes
It's
it
an
so funny. 'Cause
affectation. It's an if it's like in the old days, let's say a guy was like a rock and roller, an old time rock and roller, like constantly citing Jim Morrison, The Doors, or Mick Jagger, or John Lennon. But there's this thing
But
that there's a bunch
Mike-
of like these white boys who like basically think they're Biggie.
Yeah, but Mike, so here's the funny. He had a meme like on his like phone where it was him, his dad, and Obama, and it said like on the meme it said, "Hey, can I say it? Yo, my nigga."
Oh boy, that's it. Well, he'll be on like Oprah next week saying like, "I'm not perfect," one of those.
Exactly. That's
And that-
Hunter Biden's whole thing. It's
Yeah,
hilarious.
but the point is, why are they? See, what gets me about Hunter Biden is why they're trying to stick this guy onto President Biden. He's the prodigal
Because it's
son.
funny?
It's
Because
fun,
it's
no, but
funny?
they're trying to. It's not funny. They're trying to stick it on him, as in they can remove Biden from office if they stick Hunter Biden. If they make Hunter Biden into like the Antichrist, and you somehow stick him onto the administration of Joe Biden, he'll be thrown out of office. He'll be him. They will not only they'll indict him, not just like what's the word I'm looking for? They remove the guy from office. Impeachment, not just impeachment. They'll indict him on the stuff that his son did. It's like holding Jimmy Carter,
Billy Carter,
liable for what Billy Carter used to do.
That was the
it's
good old
ridiculous.
days. Billy Beer, remember
but I
Billy
always do
Beer?
that.
Billy Beard, and tell them Jews they can kiss my ass, and
I didn't
basically
remember
getting
that.
drunk at parties and hosting Muammar Gaddafi at his pool parties. You don't remember
I
that?
didn't know that. That I didn't remember. Oh, God.
He held pool parties down in Georgia where maybe Muammar himself didn't show up, but like the Minister of Defense of Libya used to show up, and people said like sorry, you can't do this. Like people are assuming that the Libyans are ingratiating themselves with you, Billy, because they want to get Jimmy's attention. And he said that was his answer. Them Jews ain't kiss my ass. Like the Jews are just doing this. It's all the Jews that are doing this, And like I said, how can you pin what Billy Carter is doing onto Jimmy Carter? How can you possibly pin Hunter Biden's behavior onto Joe Biden? Say like that? Oh well, yeah, he got all this money for the Chinese, he got all this money for the Ukrainians. That means that Joe Biden is corrupt.
Well, I mean, they did the same thing with Trump.
You see, the point is there was no. It was like, how can I put it? In the case of Trump took the money in his hand from the United Arab Emirates and Dubai and the Sultan of what's that place? Brunei. He was taking money in his hand from these people. He was taking money in his hands from Ukrainians. And nothing happens to him, but his the no good drug addled drunken son of a president is somehow that you can make the connection to his father. That I don't understand.
It's kind of weird how much
London Blue said. It sounds like CNN Mike.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's kind of funny how much Big Mike is capping for Hunter Biden. It's like, so Big Mike, are you Hunter Biden? Are you Hunter Biden?
I'm an anarchist. I'm a card carrying anarchist. I think the bottom line on the political system in America is, if voting ever really changed anything, they would make it illegal. I don't believe in it all, but the point is the hypocrisy of this guy who came into the White House with rubber pockets to steal soup with, is somehow taking a moral high ground to Joe Biden. Well, that's the point, the hypocrisy. Yeah. Understand it? It's not that I'm not flacking for Joe Biden. It's just like, come on, you did it. You were a fucking rapist, and then throw you out of fucking office.
I had no idea.
Right, you raped people. You didn't just put your hand in little girls' bottom bikinis and insert your vagina. You inserted your penis into people. All right, like against their will. I mean, and you're still president, and you're still a free man. You should be behind bars. You know what I'm saying?
Unfortunately,
and then he takes the moral high ground that Biden's son is taking money from from these foreign powers. That means Joe Biden is ipso facto, corrupt. It's like it's all bullshit. And he remember he is the Jefferson Davis of the 21st century. He basically wanted to set up an insurrectionist government,
Oh,
and he's not.
I thought you meant
And
Hunter Biden.
he's not in Alcatraz. They didn't put him in Leavenworth. They sent Jefferson Davis to a place called the Dry Tortugas for like 20 years. He rotted in prison with no contact to the outside world, a sliver of light and a drop of water every day for 20 years for what he did. And you're running for president again?
Well, they can't. I mean, let's be honest, Big Mike. They're not going to put like a president in jail in today's.
They ought to. They really. I mean, I would. If there has to be a first time for everything. Remember, the first president who was driven from office wasn't until 1974. They went almost 200 years without driving a president from office.
Yeah, but even 1974 was a different time. You know, I mean, even that was a different time.
It was a different time, but like I said, well, hey, 1861 was a different time too.
Yeah. Mike, I don't disagree with you, but the institutions have like sort of degenerated so much that basically,
of course. But the point is, sooner or later, somebody's going to have to.
But it's a cult now.
Yes, it is. But the point is, at a certain point. Well, so was the cult around General Robert E. Lee. Bobby Lee, everybody called him. All right,
really, Bobby.
I'm saying like at a certain point, like little Bobby Lee, Bobby Lee. Right. Like right. It was like, or he's singing alongside Justin Bieber or something.
Speaking of Bobby Lee. Speaking of Bobby Lee, so Barbie, like how? So you're in the South now and stuff, and like, are you? How's the temperature over there? Is it chill over there, or is it already people intense? It's like.
It's warm, but it's been raining a lot. It's been just rain. I feel like I
asked you about the floods earlier. I asked you about the floods.
Well, there's going to be a flood, according to prophecy.
All right, of course.
According to the Bible,
that's the fire next time. The fire next time.
It's gonna take over all the antichrists, like Barney, the purple dinosaur.
Yeah,
Barney, the purple dinosaur.
If I could see,
he's the dragon. They talked about the dragon in the Book of Revelations. It is Barney.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually Barney.
Joe Biden's the dragon. Hillary's the dragon. Hillary's the dragon.
You know what? For Halloween, I went to this neighborhood. It was like a wealthy neighborhood, and they had some kind of sign in the yard saying something like it was derogatory towards Hillary Clinton, and I'm trying to remember what it said, like Hillary, go home or whatever, or something like that. But
lock her up.
Yeah, something like that. It was just like, I don't know. They hate Democrats down here.
Well, like I said, I was one of it's like you sign up for these things sometimes, and like I'm actually signed up for the Republican National Committee. Kind of thing. So I get all their emails, and I get all their memes. Understand? I get everything from them. One of the things is I was one of those people that Putin and the KGB, whatever they call it now, NKD, whatever they call it, had targeted, because they sent me this meme with Satan arm wrestling with Jesus, and it said, and the little like cartoon bubbles over the Satan's head is that if I win, if Hillary wins, I win, and Jesus' little bubble says, not if I have anything to do with it.
I've seen that. It's actually pretty funny.
It's unintentionally funny, but those people don't think it. They believe that. They're really into that. They really believe that.
Bob, it sounds like one of those Frank Luntz, focus groups.
Yeah. That's what it is. I mean, and those, that's what, apparently what he would say, Frank Luntz, who's like a big focus group, would say, basically, you'd have like almost fights happening at these focus groups. It used to be like you give your opinion, the other person gives opinion. No. Now like people get together. Once you hear go Republican, Democrat, you got to people almost get to the point where they got to break them up. I mean, it's just crazy. We don't have like an insanity.
Yeah, I'm surprised they don't make it like a weekly like daytime talk show like Jerry Springer, where you just have like Frank Luntz, out there, and he's just like, all right, abortion, pro or false? And then people just throw chairs at each other.
They point out in literally the days going up to the Civil War, let's say Fort Sumter being fired on in 1861, it was like one of these things where, like I said, there were escaped enslaved people who escaped, and were on the Underground Railroad were brought to Canada because they couldn't keep in the United States because of the Dred Scott decision. And the point is, if you were apprehended, if they apprehended an enslaved person, that enslaved person would be returned to his master. They hung the abolitionist who was guiding them to Canada. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I'd heard. They went after.
They. Well, he's. We can't. Somebody owns this guy. We have to return him to his rightful owner. But you have no rights. You're dead. You're executed. But I mean, we're getting to that time where it's going to be like. What I'm saying, people say like, oh, there's no precedence. Remember, if there was a guy called President Jefferson Davis, who the hell elected him? And the answer comes back, nobody elected him. He was selected to be president of this country that no longer exists, called the Confederate States of America. That was recognized by France, Germany, and England. And an ambassador was sent to Richmond.
Of course, France would acknowledge that. Yeah, right.
And of course, England, and of course, Germany would.
Oh,
They
by
didn't
the way,
care what they were doing.
I think I heard a thing where like someone punched like the French president in the face.
Slapped him. He slapped him because I think what he said is, "You are the reason for all the corruption in France." Like he was like the embodiment of like corruption in France, and so he slapped his face. It wasn't anything specific. Like I don't like the fact that the wages in France or the minimum wage is only like 50 francs. It's like you are the source of all.
Oh, Big Mike left. I think it's I think the French have taken Big Mike down.
Macron heard every word that he was saying.
Yeah. But yeah, I think the guy that slapped Macron got like 4 months in jail only. That's amazing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's it.
I saw Macron. He was down at I think John's Pizza, like a few years ago. I said he came with this like little entourage, and
where in Manhattan or
yeah.
I mean Joe's Pizza.
Well, it was the one close to Houston Street.
Joe's Pizza, right? Joe's Pizza.
Is that what it was? I can't. Not.
I don't think there's a John's Pizza.
No,
yeah,
Canal. It was close to Canal because I was walking around there and I saw him and like 20 other people there.
Hey Bob, are you doing comedy in Montreal?
I might. I had some. I was supposed to be set up, to do stuff in New York back last March. Yeah. It didn't happen. So I might have to go back. And if I go back like in a few weeks, I'm probably going to do my like one-man shows there. But I was going to do some shows here too. And then,
good.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds great. I mean, if I came back, I'd love to go to Alabama to do stuff there. It sounds like you have like a.
Hey, I'm trying to get a good community of comedians here. I'd like to have a room down here and, have a showcase of different comics like from Nashville and Birmingham and, obviously Matt Nagin's down here. So that'd be cool to have him on. And you in my posh apartment.
I just never spent any time in Alabama. I'd love to see you first of all, but like.
Yeah, how much you paying for rental?
Of course, I'm paying. You want to know how much I'm paying?
Do you live by yourself or like?
Yeah, I live by myself.
$125.
I've got a towel closet. Okay, a closet for towels. Okay, when I was in New York, I was lucky to have one towel, and I used it over and over again and washed it maybe once a week.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so funny. You sound like an Alabama millionaire with all your unemployment.
Yeah.
I act like it. I'm a debutante. Man, I'm milking the government for all that worth. Yes, I'm so rich. So I'm paying $550 a month for rent.
Oh wow.
But the only thing is, you have to have a car down here.
Right.
So,
That's the one.
Car payments are like $300-400 a month.
Yeah.
So, and then you've got insurance. You've got health insurance. You have to pay. I'm not health insurance, car insurance. You have to pay for. And that's at least $200 a month, or a little less than $200 a month, depending on if you get a new car or not. So it really balance. New York, you're paying a lot for rent, but at the same time, you don't have to have a car. So it kind of balances out. So, but Yeah, I've
Well-
got to get off the unemployment soon. I've got to figure out a way to really make good money because I want to be able to have a car and stuff like that. So I'm gonna have to figure it out. So
Well, I think you just answered your own question though. Like maybe start up a room over there in Alabama, charge,
yeah,
and then just edit some like mid-level to like headliner comics, and then make some money out of it. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
that
Well,
would be
that's what I
great.
plan to do. That's what I plan to do is start rooms and have people pay a cover, and people down here will pay it too. And I think it'll be a lot easier down here to get people to see my shows than it was in New York.
I'll tell you
And-
this though, like I definitely want to like start doing like road gigs more, like
Well,
in the
that's
fall.
what I want to do.
So yeah. Let's connect. Bob Bell will be in the States. We'll smuggle Bob Bell into reverse
I'm
underground.
there. I mean,
Yeah,
just
definitely. Well, that's what I'm working on is doing
Yeah.
road gigs. That's what I'm working towards.
Mm-hmm.
Bob
So-
Bell
You
will
mentioned-
smuggle you,
you mentioned
up from
Scores
the north
earlier.
down south.
Scores.
There's freedom.
You mentioned Scores, nightclub Scores, the strip club. I was actually in a movie that was filmed there, like 20 years ago.
Oh, really?
But you know the guy? I don't know. Well, I don't know if you remember. There was a guy called Johnny Goomba. He was
Yeah.
he was the nephew of John Gotti.
Right.
And they-
Yeah.
Right, he was part of the Pizza Connection. That's how Scores got closed. And it was they were laundering heroin money through Scores and through the different pizza parlors out, the pizza pizzerias out in Brooklyn. But anyway,
I
You
guess
had
that
this,
was the real Pizzagate.
That's the pizza
yeah,
connection,
right, the real pizza. And he was with that guy Hollywood, the Hollywood guy, Hollywood Henderson, whatever the guy that was one of the DJs, one of those like morning insult DJs in 95 FM.
Didn't
And
Hollywood
they had
Henderson play in the Cowboys or something like that?
Yeah, but it was a
It's
similar name. It was Hollywood somebody, but it was like
Okay.
they were a DJ group. It was Hollywood and Johnny Goomba, something
I
Henderson.
think I
Hollywood.
think I heard of it. I remember. Yeah, I think I remember hearing
Is
it.
Johnny Goomba a radio guy still?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, right. So anyway, they had this film that they were filming at Scores, and they didn't pay you, but you got all the lap dances and beer and pizza. And when I was still drinking, it was like all the beer you could drink, all the pizza you could eat, and all the lap dancers you could do. I had the cutest one. I had the cutest one.
Hey, do me a favor, honey. Go shake your ass on that guy's face over there. Big, large Michael over there. That's how,
You know what? I've got a funny story about Scores. You want to hear it?
yeah.
Sure.
Okay. I was hanging out. I remember when I lived in New York back in 2005, 2006. I would just meet random people and hang out with them I'd meet them on the street and we'd just hang out and I would have the best time. Well, I met these two guys and I don't remember how I met them, but they were really nice. They were not creepy, but we went to Scores and we were sitting down. As soon as we got in there, the security or some manager came up to one of the guys and apparently he scared the shit out of him because he comes back over. He's like, "Hey guys, we got to get out of here. They're basically, I think the manager implied to him that unless he was going to drop a lot of money, then we better get the fuck out of there.
Right. Well,
We
that's
were not
the story. That's the strip club thing. It's like even if you drop $800, that's like chicken feed to them. Kind of thing. $1,000.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah,
point.
they want you to spend thousands of dollars. That's what they want.
$500 for like a bottle of like Tanqueray or something like that. If you're buying a bottle of Dom Perignon, it's like $1,500, even $2,000. Sometimes they'll throw in the stripper for like a session back in the VIP lounge for like, well, your Dom Perignon, the $2,000 includes an hour with one of the girls in the back, something like that.
See, that's why you got to go to dive bars where you have go-go dancers and random art college students from.
They don't make the same physical contact, Todd.
I like how you have it all analytically like laid out. I actually have one story with there was I used to go to you go to French Roast, right, Mike? And what was the other place on Park? What was the place on Park Avenue South that was like related? What
Express or something like that? Express.
French right, Express, right. So I would go there late at night, and there's a place right around there. What was around there? There was a I don't know. It was one of those clubs, like a Scores type club.
No, String Stringfellows was in the neighborhood.
Right. So I was there, and like the girls who used to come over to the bar. So one of them came over, and I would just be sitting drinking, and one of them just started saying, like, started talking to me, and she started to say, you know what I do? And I said, no. She goes, I'm a stripper. And I said, oh, that's interesting. So you do dancing and whatever. And, she kept on saying that and everything. And then, like, I just was, like, talking to her about, like, what was going on. And then she just looked at me. This is, like, 2008. And she just switched the conversation and just went, well, what do you think about Occupy Wall Street? And I started talking about Oxford. And we had this, like, hour-long political discussion. It was great. And then I just, like, said that, well, that's great. And we left.
I used to go to this. I used to go to Flash. No, was it Flash Dancers? Yeah, Flash Dancers, because there was a Lithuanian girl there, and I used to discuss the films of Lars von Trier with her.
Yeah, right.
Oh, wow.
Because she was some sort of Lithuanian like neo-Nazi herself, and it turns out like I'm serious. And Lars von Trier, like Danish neo-Nazi, so I was just like discussing the neo-Nazi movement in Western Europe these days, and she seems to be like all in on the Lithuanian neo-Nazi movement.
Well, that was a big fantasy about, like, there's certain those countries would give all those, the Germans the Nazi salute. The Germans had no interest. Yeah. They were going to work them to death and then just like, kill them. But like they thought, okay, we could kind of get in.
Finland was like that. Finland was like basically went to their side.
They invaded Finland, though. I mean, that was one of the reasons. That was.
Looks like Big Mike got abducted by Finland.
Got Finlandian.
Hey, Bob, you know what you do, Bob? You should open up your own OnlyFans so that strippers could charge you to talk to you. You could charge strippers to talk to you, and
yeah, well,
you could be their father figure, your daddy. You could be their daddy figure. Charge like $100, a session.
It was, she was really, it was just great. She was just like, because she kind of was doing that, I think, to be kind of snarky. But then once she stopped, she just, like, we started talking about politics. And then we had a great conversation. And I was really happy to talk to her.
Mm.
So.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
One time,
so romantic.
Yeah. It's so platonic. That's what that was.
Yeah, probably more platonic. And then,
So I remember that, I think I was like in my early 20s. There used to be an open mic in like Queens, right? That was basically run by like a Russian mob. Basically, it was like this like strip club, and I remember I did a set there, and then like while I was hanging out, like there was this like really skinny young like stripper, and she was basically asking me, like begging me to like dance for me, like she was begging, like she's basically like, oh, no one, like, she's giving me the sob story, like, oh, no one asked me to dance for them, and I'm very sad. I'm like, that's your angle? That's your angle on me.
Maybe she just was really sad. Maybe oh God, but
don't put that on me.
I know. I agree. That's just like
it's fucking depressing.
There's a no. It's a no win.
Yeah.
I had like favorites at the strip clubs. We're still talking about strip clubs, right?
Yeah. Well, we were talking about Bob Bell's.
That this Thai girl would approach people, and she was like a real hard sell, and I kept saying to her, like, maybe in 5 minutes, maybe 5, like, come back in 5 minutes, like blah 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 blah, and then like my regular Cassie came by and says, wait a minute, you said no to Pam? I said, yeah, I mean, I was waiting for you. She goes, nobody says no to Pam, like you're the first person that ever refused to give her, to buy her lap dance. I don't understand that.
Why? Just people just pitied her like that?
No, but she was such a hard sell. She wouldn't let you go. And I'm like,
right.
She kind of like hooked onto you. And strange enough, she was the one that later I used to go to her apartment, kind of thing. Like I used to see her at her apartment. I would I had like private lessons with her later. Pam, Thailand.
There you go. The long game. You might play the long game.
Don't tell Cassie I did that.
Yeah. Lessons. That was the best thing about it. Lessons.
Private dance lessons with Pam from Thailand.
Well, like I've said before, like I said before, once Bob Bell gets back to New York, we all got to go to a strip club because I gotta see Big Mike in action.
I want to go to a diner first, but
That's I want to go to a
My
diner.
nickname there was Saint Mike
Saint Mike.
because I
missed
treated
the
them. I
diners
treated.
in New York. That's what I missed the most. Well, not the most, but I really miss the diners.
Yeah.
Many of them have closed. I don't know if Bob, if your Waverly Diner's closed forever.
So Waverly. Wow, that was.
It's gone. That's been around since the 1940s, and it's gone. It's no more Waverly Diner.
Mm-hmm.
And the one Time to Eat, it was one on like 6th Avenue, 14th Street.
Mm-hmm.
That's closed forever.
Oh, you mean good stuff?
Good
That
Stuff,
one?
yes, Good Stuff. Right, that place, Good Stuff, is
That's
closed
the one
forever now.
Matt used to go to all the time. Now there was two on. There was what it's because I'm mixing them up on 6th Avenue, right around Christopher Street. There's the one across the street. There was the West Village Diner, and then what was the other
right,
one?
the West, right. Once the West Village, that's closed forever too.
So both of those.
A lot of these places closed up forever. The TikTok Diner on 34th Street and 8th. Most of these places are closed now. They're not reopening.
Yeah.
It's in West 4th Diner. You talk about the diner no, not the West 3rd Diner. That's still open.
No, the West 4th is the one that's right next to the basketball courts.
Right.
No, on
Yeah,
the side.
It's right next to McDonald's on 4th Street.
Right. And so
That one's closed.
I know that
forever.
one. I used to go there.
Closed. Wow.
Right, that's closed forever.
I wonder how the jazz
Well, French
clubs are
Roast
doing.
closed forever. Yes, that one on 11th Street is now it's a Mexican place that reopened as a Mexican called like East Continent or something like that, Oeste Continenta.
By the
But
way, you know
one-
the funny thing is
How about Express? Did Express?
That's
close?
one's closed forever too. Most
What
you'd
about
be surprised.
Westway
Some of the,
Diner?
Wow,
Is
that's
Westway Diner
closed.
open?
I haven't been there for a while, so I wouldn't know. I don't think I have not been to the Westway Diner.
I would
since
bet
the
that's
pandemic.
open. I would bet that's open because that had like a certain regular traffic.
Right,
Yeah,
right. Because you're
that
right.
was
I mean,
a
right
really
off of
popular
Times
diner.
Square. You know,
Yeah,
You're right off of
Yeah.
Times Square.
I used to
Yeah.
love going there. I used to hang out there with Joseph Rocha
Yeah,
a lot.
right. Yeah.
Joe Rocha,
Right,
really?
Drink coffee, and yeah, Joseph was a good friend of mine.
You know, I have, like one of those things, like I used to go around taking nude pictures of the performers, the comedians, and but I would only take pictures of the women, but I would always take pictures of men engaged in homoerotic acts. So I have a picture of Joe Rocha kissing Rob Shapiro with a rose, like a rose. Thing.
I could see that.
And I have another one of,
Maybe-
remember, like, what's the name? Tarnow, and I think it was,
Noah Tarnow.
and I think it was Billy Idol Jr. dry humping each other.
Oh my god, there's like a delay on my video, and like it's just weird. I just want to acknowledge that there's like a total delay. Like,
And it was also was it one it was who's that guy what's his name I can't remember the guy's name. He got famous for a while. Anyway, I got a picture of him and
Jonathan Ames?
huh?
Jonathan Ames?
No. He was a comedian, not a writer. Oh, the name totally is. His act was he used to do this thing like people would do the verbal warm ups. They were like little wet raindrops. He said, "Little wet panties, little wet panties." That was his line.
That's interesting. I don't even
Oh,
know. Wow.
forget his name. He got Baldo.
Oh, Craig
Baldo?
Craig Baldo. I have a picture of Craig Baldo being cornholed by Rob Shapiro.
Boy, you have a lot of pictures of Rob Shapiro, basically. In
Yeah, right, because he was an exhibitionist, right? You know.
Yeah.
I remember Rob. Me and Rob were friends when I first lived in New York. In 2005 and 2006, I became friends with Rob first. I never met Rick, and then it wasn't till after I went to LA, I met up with Rick and became friends with him, and then I lost touch with him for like 10 years, and then we got back in touch together, back in touch with each other in New York after I saw him at Todd's show. And he didn't remember. He said he remembered me, but I don't think he did.
Well, I don't remember you, so I don't know. I met like Rick and Rob in AA. I shouldn't talk about it, but
That's
I
where
do.
I
You know,
met Rick. I met Rick in AA.
okay, right. So I made it right. And he used to perform at Sidewalk. That he was like the AA
Yeah.
comic. In fact, he called himself in those days. Like I'm talking about 1997. Like I mean, really early. Like
Late
98.
show.
Yeah.
Well, late
Yeah.
show.
Yeah,
Well, we got-
he was called the AA comic, the Alcoholics Anonymous comic.
Mhm.
well,
And that's
we
where
got-
I would go to his shows at Sidewalk, and I would talk to him, and they were the people would hang out because I places like Sidewalks and French Express, French Roast, that was the name of the place, French Roast,
Right.
and was there used to be the Homer's Diner was on 10th Street and 6th Avenue by the. So I would see them. We would just like
I
hang
used to
out.
go there. Yeah, a long time. That's 25 years ago. I
Right,
remember.
exactly. Now it's called Mary Lou's. It's a Mexican place.
Right. Mhm.
by the way,
But I used
before
to-
we
used to-
end the show, you know Limelight's coming back, right?
Yes, the
No.
Limelight is coming back, and Webster Hall already open. See, that's what's opening in New York. It's not the diners or the Chinese restaurants. The things that are opening are the super high-end places where people want exclusivity, and they want the exclusivity by buying the exclusivity. If it's $15 for an open mic, if it's $50 to come in, if it's $100 to eat a meal there, that's what they want. They don't want the
forget that.
street scum
Right. Don't
rubbing
forget that
elbows
vaccine,
with them.
That vaccine passport. Don't forget that.
Right. Well, hey, nowhere. I'm telling you, kids. I walk around with the vaccination card, and in New York now, if you don't have that card, you are denied entrance.
Are
And
you
they don't want to hear
serious?
about. I'm serious, and they don't want to hear about a negative COVID-19 test. It's called COVID apartheid.
Well,
Yeah,
I don't have my
vaccination
card
apartheid.
anymore. I don't know what I did with that card.
Well, like I said, you have to carry. A lot of people have this app on their phone now. It's called the Empire State app or something like Empire State
Right.
Vaccination, where it's a little app on your phone. You know what I'm saying? Where
Mhm.
if you press a button, you show the phone to the guy. But basically, there's nowhere in New York you can go now. I mean,
Hey, can I just take a picture of my my Vax card?
I heard. I know. I was there one time where a guy accepted that. A doorman accepted that. You know what I'm
Can't you
saying?
just
I
show
could
him like
probably
a
get another card from
Can't
the
you just show him a picture?
drugstore.
Can't you just show him a picture of Bill Gates? Isn't that enough?
That's
Yeah, right.
this is my ruler. This is my overlord. But like I said, there is basically you can't get. But that's what they want. They want this exclusivity, like kind of thing. People who go to these places want that. They want this super exclusivity. They want to rub elbows with the infected, as it were. Like like I said, in the days of Boccaccio's Decameron, talking about the plague of like the 1300s, the rich would go to these villas outside the cities, lock themselves in, and basically let the peasantry die all around them. But they were exempt from it because they would shut themselves off from the peasants, the kind of thing. So we're 700 years later, 800 years later, we're doing the same thing. You know what I'm saying?
It never changes.
It never changes. But the point is, when people get into this argument, I say, what are you going to do? Fight it? You can't. You're going to push your way through a door. You're going to bum rush the show someplace. Oh, I don't have to show you. No, the bounce is going to kick in the ass.
Well,
So
the
the
funny
point
thing is though, but Big Mike, so like last week, like I went to a karaoke place with friends, and I didn't have the vax. I'm vaccinated, but I don't have the vaccine card. And the guy I was like, no, I'm vaccinated. He's like, can't get you in. Sorry, it's not about that.
Right? You'd be
But then,
surprised.
listen,
how
listen.
tough they are.
But I got in anyway because like one of the people I was with was friends with the bartender, and the bartender was like, let him in.
Right, but you see, that's the point.
That's what's eventually going to happen. After
right.
time.
See, the point is like, but you have to know somebody like the speakeasies of the 1920s. Knock, knock. Joe sent me. Okay, kind of thing. What's the secret password? Swordfish is the secret password. Like, what's the password? You have to speak easy. If you convince the doorman that you were all right, they'd let you in. Otherwise, they're not going to let you in.
By the way, before the funny thing is, I was actually thinking of an idea of like opening up why not open up a bar or something like that, or a comedy show where it's like you only sell NFTs. Like you have to own an NFT to get in.
What's an NFT?
Oh, it's like a digital collectible, like Bitcoin. Like cryptocurrency.
Oh, I think you mentioned that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's like a digital token, basically. It's like
Okay.
it's similar to crypto, but basically because it's on the blockchain ledger, like basically
Mhm.
you don't need a bank. There's like a decentralized ledger that says like, oh, you own that, and so one person
Yeah.
can point it. Yeah. So no, but the point is though, like there's this whole thing with smart contracts with like these digital collectibles, where it's like, oh, I own this, so I could get these like benefits from it. People might
Mhm.
use that in the future to like have these like exclusive bars. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, oh, you can only get in this bar, and that's the same thing with the vaccine. You can only get in this bar if you have this vaccine. Soon it's going to
Mhm.
be like, well, you can only get in this bar because you have that NFT. You know, I mean, that's just a matter of time. I mean, we're in a dystopia,
and NFT with your
Mhm.
vaccine record.
right? Exactly, exactly. Probably make it easier. Sadly, it probably make it easier. Oh, like when's
Mhm.
that's probably going to happen soon. Like why not? I mean, it's technically happening. Yeah. Oh, Big Mike's coming back, so we can like wrap up. So yeah, you might have missed what I said, Big Mike, but like I could see a future like say the vaccine cards get played out. I could see like NFTs being a thing to get people into bars, where it's like, oh, you have to buy that NFT for that from that bar. That's the only way you could be in that NFT's that bar's club. You have to own an NFT. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it said Banksy has this big exhibition in New York now. I think you need an NFT to get in there.
Oh, really? I didn't think he'd do
Banksy,
that.
yeah.
He's into
Yeah.
that, but yeah. All right. All right, guys, I'm tired, so let's do our plugs.
Yeah, I gotta milk my goats.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Yeah.
You have
They
I
really
goats?
gotta
need some
milk my
milking,
lizard.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Huh?
I have to milk my lizard. So
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, Barbie, you have goats?
Of course.
Are you serious?
Duh.
Does that come
How
with
do you
the
think how do you think I get around town?
wait,
a goat
wait,
cart.
wait, so you have an apartment?
Right at it and feed
Time
them
out,
chicken.
time out. Did the goats come with the apartment, or did the goats come separately?
Oh, silly Todd. I had to buy them. They don't
How much?
come cheap, okay? I've been
What?
spending my hard-earned unemployment money on farm animals, on petting. I'm starting my own petting zoo. It's called the Haunted Petting Zoo.
But you're not allowed to pet them anywhere except on their head.
Yeah.
No other places. No petting. No petting the farm animals south of Denver, as it were.
All right, we got to go, but like,
yeah,
Okay.
I think
we got to talk about that next time, Barbie. So yeah, Barbie, can you plug you have a show tomorrow?
Yeah, I have a show. I have a show tomorrow night on Instagram Live. It's at Barbie Jean Ogles, my new name. And I'm going to be featuring Satan. Satan's going to be on the show.
Oh, that's
That's
great.
Good.
Yeah, Satan's going to be on. So we're going to be having our own little Bible study.
Man.
That's
We're going to be studying the Bible together, and specifically Revelations.
Of course, the apocalypse.
So stay
My
tuned.
favorite part of the Bible, the end.
The end
so
of
I'll
days.
be doing this. I'll be doing, when I start doing comedy in my town, I'm not sure how busy I'm going to be, but I'll always make time for my show on Instagram, but it may not be on the same night every week. But the show is called Taking the High Road with Barbie Jean. So come check it out, guys. Bring some popcorn.
Okay.
Bring some crystal meth and popcorn, and enjoy the show.
Yeah. Go hand again, like peanut butter and jelly, crystal meth and popcorn.
What a combo.
What?
Fried
Anything?
peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Yeah.
Big Mike, Bob Bell, you guys have anything you want to plug?
You go, Mike.
Well, I'm going back to the Mike Geffner's open mic, the Inspired Word, now on Monday nights. It's been gone for 15 months. They just reinstated it. And again, you need a vaccination card to come in. It's at the Parkside Lounge.
Okay. Is that how much? Are they charging?
Yes, they're charging $15. In fact, I have to give them 30, so I get like 15 minutes instead of 7 or 8 minutes.
30? for an open mic?
$30. Forget
Oh my
about
God.
it.
Mike,
Fucking
Mike,
forget about
you're
it.
burning through that dough, Mike. Burning
Oh
through
my
it.
God, yeah. Way too fast. Yeah. Hey, should we charge Big Mike to be on our show? I mean, he's gonna just
You know
spend money
what?
like this.
I have an idea. Maybe I should start a show here in Alabama. Start like an open mic for like a mixed open mic, and charge like $20 a person.
Yeah, then you get people. There's so many people
No,
starving.
I don't want to
stateside.
recreate. I don't want to recreate open mic hell. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I know. I know that was
Yeah.
Hey, I got
Yeah.
a better idea. How about $1,000 open mic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Rich people
that's
can, like,
it.
How about I open a strip club where comedians can perform,
oh God.
and
sounds
this
horrible.
is going nowhere. I don't know where
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah,
going.
No one's going to a strip club going, who's telling jokes tonight?
You know, Stacey Kendro has been performing at strip clubs. Did you know
I
that?
can believe it. Yeah,
She's
I
been
know.
doing- She's been doing comedy at strip clubs.
I can see her as a bouncer at a strip club. Like, she'd be like, yeah, get out of here. Don't make me get my knife and my shoehorn.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. And Big Mike is doing something. I don't know. Bob, how about you, Bob? Any?
Yeah. Just I mean, if I do something up here, I'll tell people. But I got nothing lined up. It's more likely I'll maybe do the 13th Street rep when I get back to New York. So.
Bob's just doing math. Bob's doing math. In
I
our
do
show.
a lot of math, a lot of physics recently. So. A lot of math.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Big Mike's like, hey, Big Mike, we just decided you're going to have to pay us $100 to be on our show now. Every week. $100.
Yeah, you can
Plus,
Venmo me about $200, okay? If you
Mm.
want to do my Instagram show, it's only $200.
Right.
I have Venmo. Just Venmo me.
Yeah.
I know, it's tempting, right?
I don't even know if Big Mike could hear us. All right.
So I don't
All
have Venmo. I have Venmo, and I don't have PayPal, and I don't have a credit card anymore. So
Well, I don't
Oh,
have
yeah.
credit cards either.
I have to do
Not
everything by cash.
anymore.
I could mail you the $200 in cash. But
All
that's,
right. And look at that. We got our fucking countdown. There you go.
Oh,
There you go.
fuck.
Finally. Sweet
25,
countdown.
24, 23, 22,
Thanks to Antonio
21,
Moreno being our
20,
own
19, 18,
Why can't
17,
I ever see the numbers at the end?
15,
Yeah.
14,
I always see
13,
them at the beginning.
12.
Just follow,
Oh man, I'm gonna miss you
Oh, there it
guys.
goes.
yeah.
What's up, Barbie G? When's your show tomorrow? What time?
Yeah, goodbye.